Star Wars Santa here. It's 212 days until Christmas 2020. And there's been some discussion today about some fan movements, and especially comes off of the news we had recently with the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. And we started to see some movement over the weekend and this morning into David Ayer's Suicide Squad. And then, of course, Make Solo 2 happen has come up as a point of discussion. And so I'll just reference here quickly that we had a video release just recently from the Den of Nerds. Josh Lucas was talking about the Solo 2 and some of the things behind it. That actually Solo itself originated from the fans wanting to see that story. And then we had, of course, the poor box office performance. Oh, hello, Second Street Marvel. Trinity's here. Mike Porter, thanks for stopping in. And so, if you haven't seen the video that the Den of Nerds put in, I just put the link to the Den of Nerds into the description here, as well as Den of Nerds Live. We were talking about it a little bit this morning. Of course, Josh was on a huge rant this morning. Got a lot of that out of his system, we hope. And so here we are. This afternoon, of course, I was sharing this morning on the live stream of Release the Original Trilogy. And so I wanted to bring up this kind of started with, we saw the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer come out, and a bunch of Sonic fans reacted negatively. The studios kind of heard that feedback, went and tweaked it. They went back to some of the post-editing and revised the effects to improve Sonic's appearance, to help get some enthusiasm from the fans to say, yeah, we're listening to you. We're making changes based on your feedback to make this a better movie for you. And then, of course, with the Zack Snyder cut, that's been a hashtag that's been out there for years. And of course, now I'm learning about some of the different fan movement behind that and some negativity that's associated with it. I wasn't involved in all of that, so I guess I don't really know all of the details there. Again, Josh did a great video over the weekend with somebody that was involved in that, and that's where I kind of learned the negativity there. But here we are today with some of the discussion about Make Solo 2 happen. And I watched Solo. I liked Solo. Solo's the rewatchability is there. Some of the criticisms, I agree with Josh that it's really dark. But I think I saw that a big portion of why the movie itself is so dark is because Ron Howard was trying to reuse some of the footage, and he had to tone things down so that he could reuse it in different contexts. So, of course, that has gotten some folks to say, well, release the Lord Miller cut, which was primarily done before Solo was released. So, you know, would Disney be interested in releasing the Lord of Miller cut of Solo? Or, as I've been bringing up for a long time, and I think a lot of us original trilogy fans have wanted to see for a very long time, is the original theatrical cut of the original trilogy. So before we get into some of those details, there's got to be some discussion about why would a studio do it? What's the incentive, and is there any business model or profitability in doing it? Hey, Jason's Polyhedral, good to see you. Fan Jexture, great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So the profitability has to come up, and with Solo, it didn't give them the returns that they needed to get to make that a profitable venture. And so, of course, Solo 2 kind of got put on the side, and Josh is right. There's a lot of reasons for Solo 2 not getting the box office that it should have gotten. And just to kind of rehash a little bit of that, Solo um, was getting some fan backlash from The Last Jedi. There were certainly some Star Wars fans that were making it a protest movement to not go see it. And that certainly had some box office impact. But I'll throw in that replacing Harrison Ford is no easy task. And when you take an iconic character like Han Solo with an iconic actor, Harrison Ford, and try to replace him with another actor, it's a difficult feat. And I'll just bring up Young Indiana Jones or as an example. When they went back and tried to do that TV series, Young Indiana Jones, and it wasn't actually that bad. It's just people didn't embrace it. Harrison Ford's not a replaceable character. The character and the actor got really tightly associated there with Indiana Jones. So replacing him with a young Indiana Jones was a tough feat. We see in Solo the same thing. They went to replace Harrison Ford with another actor, and people weren't ready to embrace that. So that's the second reason, I think, is first of all, there was some TLJ backlash. Second, you didn't have Harrison Ford in the iconic role. Third, there was all kinds of news about the reshoots. We all were very aware that the movie had tremendous issues in getting made, and that they waited way late in the process to replace the directors and replace with Ron Howard. And I see some discussion here. Let me just take a pause and get caught up with you guys. And Jason, I agree with you. I enjoyed Solo. I really do. I like that movie, and I've watched it repeatedly. And then Fan Jackson, I'm happy you enjoyed it. For me, it's painfully boring, and I don't like a lot of the lore they created with it. Fair enough. For me, and I know my daughter caused some stir in the chat last night, but for me, Rogue One is not hardly rewatchable at all. And it's got some good moments in it, but Rogue One really didn't strike that chord with me. Solo has grown on me. I think the characters there, especially the ancillary characters, I enjoyed quite a bit. And I thought they did a fine job with it. And I'll just add to it that I'm interested in seeing what they could do with the Crimson Dawn. I'm interested in seeing what they could do with Kira and taking that story arc forward with what's going on with Maul. And I don't know how well the story revolved around that moving forward, but I'd be interested in seeing it. And I think Disney Plus could be a good outlet for it. And I'll get back on topic here in a moment. Mike Porter, my Han Solo. Yeah, but I'll watch anything new on Disney Plus. I'm with you. I'll watch things on Disney Plus. There's less of an investment there. Now I want to get from the audience standpoint, right? I'm not having to pay theater prices to go see it with the popcorn and the soda and the whatever snacks they want, the kids want. And I know that it's not uncommon for a family of four to spend well over $50, close to $100 to go see a movie at the theater. So if you're doing that at home, that entry cost is way lower. Let's see. Fanjector, I don't even blame Alden. Blame the script. You know what? Alden took a little bit for me to kind of connect with. I saw, at first, again, it's like hard to replace Harrison Ford, but I thought Alden did a fairly good job of it. And by the end of the movie, I bought in. So maybe halfway through, somewhere in there, he started to feel like Han Solo, and especially towards the end, I bought in at him being Han Solo. So yeah, Alden did a fairly good job. I like Rogue One. That being said, I don't care about a Cassian Andor series. I don't know what they're going to do with the Cassian Andor series. What's that about? And who asked for it? Where's it coming from? And to me, I think the only reason that Cassian Andor series is coming because fans do generally, if you just go across the Star Wars fandom, fans have a generally more positive um, opinion regarding Rogue One. And if you look at the people's list of their Star Wars favorite movies, right, they list them down. Rogue One comes in fairly strong among the fans. So I think that's where that comes from as well. Um, let's see. Reimagining Star Wars. Hey, good to see you, Magic Maker. Thanks for joining. Uh, he says, as long as Alden isn't Han again. Uh-oh. Well, so there you go. Fan Jackson. I mean, you don't have to give Han Solo his name that way. Yeah. Come on. Just Solo, right? The way that they gave him that last name was terrible. And I'll go on that with, and this is my opinion again, with Rise of Skywalker. I don't like Rey taking on Skywalker. So don't like that either. Han Solo, that name, yeah. They could have written that better. I'm with you. Let's see. What else do we have here? About Cassian Andor. Unless the character is exceptional, I find it hard to get invested in character story. Yeah, well, you know where it ends. That's generally true, Jason. There's some stories, though, we know the end, but we're highly invested in the characters. And when you are highly invested in the characters, then it can play out. And that's why I mentioned with Solo 2, or going on with that storyline in Disney Plus. I don't know where it was going, but I'm interested to see what would happen with Maul, what happens with Crimson Dawn, where does it go, and Kira, what's her involvement? Somebody mentioned last week, it's possible that Kira is alive even during the sequel trilogy. Certainly Han was alive in The Force Awakens. Kira would have been roughly his age, and so during that sequel trilogy, it's absolutely possible that Kira's there. And what's she doing? Is she involved with the Crimson Dawn still? Is she leading the Crimson Dawn in the vacuum that Darth Maul left, or Maul left? Where's Kira in all of this? And there's a character we don't know the ending. So to get back to Jason's point, like, we don't know where Kira goes. And if that series, the Solo series, were to be taken and we follow that story arc with the Crimson Dawn and Kira, we don't know where it's going. It could be interesting. Let's see, what do we have? So a Magic Maker didn't like Alden, but they would have been better following the EU novels. And for those of you who don't know, a Magic Maker and I have just started going into some of the Legends material and looking at those books. And so I'll put a link to his channel in the description after this. Come find us there. We have a weekly discussion. We just started with the Legends material. So it'd be great to engage with you guys there too. The Ambassador, welcome. Thanks for joining. Hello there. Yeah, and let's see, what else we have. Mike, love the end of Rogue One. Most people do like the end of Rogue One, and there's some discussion with the end of the Clone Wars animated series, when Maul has his hallway scene of it kind of standing up there with Vader in his hallway scene, and I think that's a fair comparison. Let's see, I can't get. Disney knows that we need to get beyond old tropes. Let's see, just kind of reading through the comments. An animated Solo series. Well, animated's another way to get there. If people are just going to reject Alden in that role. But again, for me, he kind of grew on me. And again, I don't even know if Alden's available to cast, nor the other characters. Who knows? That's a good point. Good stories about characters I care about. Yeah, I'm with you, Ambassador. And we kind of mentioned that. I would be interested to see where Kira goes with Maul and with the Red Dawn, after Maul dies. And is she leading the Crimson Dawn? And what's she doing with the Crimson Dawn? Where could that story go? I think there's something there. Want Kira to be Maul's apprentice. Ooh, I don't know. Does Kira have force sensitivity? Uh, Now, from a just purely standpoint of leading an underground movement, and could she lead the Crimson Dawn as a syndicate boss? Perhaps so. I don't know about it when you talk about her being Maul's apprentice, being a force sensitive. Who knows? Fanjecture. Oh, look, Sir Nerdalot's here. Oh, hello, Sir Nerdalot. Thanks for joining. And let's see. If they do a series about Solo and that part of the universe, yeah. Oh, thanks, Ambassador. Um, let's see. Jason, animated Solo's a cop out. Well, I don't know why you'd say it's a cop out, but I think it's a way to get by casting, and it's a way to continue the story, perhaps at a lower cost. Hard to say. If you go back and watch that technology episode of the gallery, and to find out where they're going with that volume, maybe it would be cost effective to continue the Solo series like the Mandalorian. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Um, let's see. Where are we? Fanjecture. If I think Alden is available. I'm sure. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he is. Um, the question I'm drawing a blank on her right now is on Kira's actress. I can't remember her name right now. She's in Game of Thrones. She's involved with some other things, other projects. If she's available, that would be good too. Um, the Magic Maker. I like Rogue One. Serious writing issues with it. There you go. Again, that's a Magic Maker's strong point. Hot take. Okay, Jason. Only live action stuff counts. Oh no. Oh, Jason. Oh, the Clone Wars. You mean Ahsoka doesn't exist? She doesn't count? Oh, an unpopular opinion there. You can have it, but I think you're going to be in a minority. I always like to say that I often live on an island of one, right? I'm there all by myself. My opinions are sometimes so distinct that nobody shares them with me. I'm not sure how many people are there with you, but that's a hot take for sure. Um, Oh, Ambassador, I would encourage you to reach out with a Magic Maker. He's really supportive in helping folks explore their writing and in their stories. It'd be really good. Um, let's see. They should Game of Thrones and kill off Kira by a third. Fanjecture. Ooh, rough. All right, so let me get back on track a little bit here. So as going back to Solo and the reasons why I don't think it was successful in the box office. First, we had, of course, the fan reaction to The Last Jedi. Second, replacing Harrison Ford's not an easy task. Third, there were production problems, and people were aware of it. I think people like Ron Howard were willing to give it a chance, but they were kind of waiting to see, like, I don't know if this movie is worth it. It's a hot mess from everything we've heard. Just not sure we're on board. And then lastly, I do agree with the kind of the scheduling. Is it bumped up way close to The Last Jedi? I know they tried to go with that traditional Star Wars release date in May. So they tried to leverage that, but to put it right after The Last Jedi, when The Last Jedi was received so divisively, that kind of played in as well. I don't think they could have had the foreknowledge of that, but in retrospect, that's certainly the case. So there you go. So could Solo 2 be profitable on Disney Plus since Solo wasn't? I'm not sure. I really don't know. And I think if the story, we've mentioned it here, I think let this show here. There we go. If we could let that story continue with Kira, Crimson Dawn, and Maul. I think those are compelling characters. We don't know the outcome of them. Han Solo, we do, and again, that replacing uh, Harrison Ford's the tough thing. Do you think, and this is a question for you folks, do you think that they could successfully sell the continuation of Solo as a Crimson Dawn series? So more following Kira in the Crimson Dawn and Maul than Solo, but allow Solo to be the jumping off point for that. Tell folks, look, Solo 2, we're going to continue it under Crimson Dawn, or is that too big of a leap? Or should it just be a spin-off and kind of drop Crimson Dawn and just go straight with Crimson Dawn as a spin-off series, or continue with Solo 2 with that thread of Crimson Dawn in there? So I'd be curious to see what you all think of that. So that's the story between Solo 2. I'm completely on board with make Solo 2 happen as a movement. I'm completely on board with doing it as a Disney Plus series. I think that would be great. Let's see what we have. Mike, I appreciate it. Santa's opinions. Didn't know you lived alone on an island. Well, again, sometimes I get kicked out. So I've mentioned I've got this new cabin here. The elves with the whole pandemic thing. Santa's got some social distancing. I've got my own cabin here. We got the snow. We got a nice fire going in the back. It's a comfy environment for Santa here. Of course, I've got lots of elves that live with us. We've got a busy place at the North Pole. Of course, the elves are still working for Christmas. You know, they've got to get those gifts ready. It's a year-round process. So we're working on 2020, getting those gifts out to the kids. So that's still happening. But sometimes Santa, you get kicked to a doghouse. You've heard of going to, well, Santa gets put on the island of one. And I just go there to spout my views on things that are very unpopular. So that's where I end sometimes. So yeah, a magic maker. He's got a vacation somewhere. Ambassador could have done with Solo. They could have worked, bring Harrison Ford in for a brief cameo, and at the end make the first movie a flashback. Yeah, that's an idea. Maul, we know. Maverick Pilgrim. I don't know if I've said hi, but hello, Maverick. Glad to have you here. Maverick Pilgrim, a topic for another time. Pre-production is too heavy regarding the good of a movie leads to prejudging before a movie is even released. Yes. Yeah, I think that had a part of it. Maverick's got to drive. Time for dinner. Thanks for stopping by, Magic Maker. Could have done for the first movie, bring in, I already read that, I think, make it a flashback story. Yeah, sure, that could work. So Jason, how are the elves handling social distancing? Well, elves have a bit of an immunity to the virus. Some of them have gotten a little bit down, but it's not been too bad. But they want to protect Santa, so they've got me out here in the cabin. They gave me a space so that they could keep working without worrying about infecting me. So there you go. They're doing great with the social distancing. It's not a big problem for them. Let's see what we have. Begin with R2, end with 3PO, and I'm out of the loop there. Nerd-a-lot, cleaning through the kids' room. Oh, okay. Well, saying hi to everybody. So. We'll just see if this keeps to getting some traction. I wanted to bring up another point, and it's release the original trilogy. And we got some good feedback this morning. Folks telling me, "Hello, Santa, it's not going to happen. It can't happen." And I largely agree with you. But again, I'm an original trilogy guy, and I remember the movies I saw in the theaters. And that's all I had for a very long time until Lucas started releasing this other stuff. And I brought up Lucas's testimony for Congress, and I wanted to bring that up here again just to show you guys George Lucas's comments. And he was talking specifically at the time about the recolorization of movies that was happening, and he was opposed to it. And it starts off with, these current defacements are just the beginning. And that's specifically the context of that. These current defacements. He's complaining about the colorization that was happening, and he wanted to put a stop to it. Or at least if Turner was going to do that, he wanted to make sure that the originals weren't being altered. That original, because with the colorization, they were taking the negatives and adding colorization to the negatives. So he wanted to make sure those were preserved. And so he said, today, engineers with their computers can add color to black and white movies, change the soundtrack, speed up the pace, add or subtract material to the philosophical taste of the copyright holder. Oh, well, hello, George. What did you do? You added up, added and subtracted material to the taste of the copyright holder. You were the copyright holder, and you added and subtracted. You certainly did. So there you go. And then he said, tomorrow, more advanced technology will be able to replace actors with fresher faces. Well, can you say Jabba the Hutt? Oh, you just added him in there. Or altered dialogue. McClunky, altered dialogue, where did that come from? And change the movement of the actor's lips to match. Or change the actor to move, right, to dodge out of the way. It'll soon be possible to create a new original negative with whatever changes or alterations the copyright holder of the moment desires. Hello? What happened to the original negatives that you had? You've told us that you altered those negatives and that the originals don't exist anymore because you made the changes to the negatives themselves. Hello? That's exactly what you ended up doing. In the future, it will become even easier for old negatives to become lost or be replaced by new altered negatives. George, were you telling them what you were doing? Is that what it was? You were just giving testimony that this is what you were going to do to us? This would be a great loss to our society, he said. Our cultural history must not be allowed to be rewritten. George, attention should be paid to the interest of those who are yet unborn. So many of you are just coming in. I know my daughters were born way after he released those special editions, and then how many changes has he made to them since then? Attention should be paid to the interests of those unborn, who should be able to see this generation as it saw itself, and the past generation as it saw itself. Let me see the movies I saw myself. Why can't I get those movies? Because, George, you won't let us. That's why. You make me crazy. So I wanted to bring that up just because this release, the original trilogy, George is holding on to those daggone things. And we know that Disney bought that property. Disney had it. And we know that George has since shown some of the unaltered originals back to small groups. And then Kathy Kennedy comes out and says that she won't release the originals because she wants to honor George. So who owns them? Does Disney own it? What would it take for Disney to own it? And how much money? So we talk about, is Solo 2 a profitable endeavor? Could they release Solo 2 as a series on Disney Plus? Would it be profitable? What would it be? And how would they determine it? What's the risk? Well, let me carry that on to the release of the original trilogy. What's the risk? What's the profitability? How much money would Disney Plus or Disney Corporation make if they could release those original, unaltered, theatrical release of the original trilogy? How many people would line up to buy that? Who would want to subscribe to be able to watch it? What would be the profit margin for Disney to release those things that exist. So you talk about the Snyder Cut, it existed, right? There was all these things like, well, the Snyder Cut exists, the Snyder Cut exists. Well, it's going to cost them $30 million or billion to a million, $30 million, between 20 million to 30 million to finish the post-production, to actually finish that Snyder Cut. 20 to 30 million dollars. How much money would Disney have to spend to get those unaltered, the original release, or take those remastered ones that are available on the internet if you want to go out there and get them, right? So they're available out there. You can go out and get them, but you can't get them from Lucasfilm. You can't get something you can purchase and buy and then own. You have to take these internet versions, and there's a little bit involved in getting those remastered originals. So they call them despecialized versions. They're available out there, but Santa's not willing to go out there and download those and have them. So I'd like to be able to get those from Disney, from Lucasfilm, if they would just let those out. So here I am again championing the hashtag release the original trilogy. If fans do have the power, if fans are going to be able to get Suicide Squad by David Ayers, if the fans are going to get Solo 2 made, or the Crimson Dawn series made, well, let's release the original trilogy trending again, and let's see if Disney Studios are interested in making money for nothing, right? They get money for nothing. All they'd have to do is just let them out. Let us see them. Let us have those, and let us own them. Or at least subscribe to Disney Plus to have access to them. At least that. It would be fantastic. So let me get caught up again. I've been on my own little rant here, and come back, and let's back up. Jason, nice. Can you say that again so my kids can hear it? I can't remember what I need to say again, but sure. Fanjecture. I'll say this, but I don't necessarily need the very original version, but I do want the version we had up to 96 before the special edition. They did some good work to it after the original release. You know, Fanjecture, I'll agree with you to a degree there, because they did go in and improve a lot of the effects. So they took out some of the wires that you could see here or there. They enriched it. They made it a better version. I think they did improve some of those things, and I wouldn't be opposed to having those kind of edits rather than just a straight up original release. But short of that, the original release is where I'd want it to be. Jason, tweaks are fine. Wholesale addition or subtraction of scenes and dialogue is a bit much. Amen, Jason. Jason goes on the nice list. There you go. I know you can. That hot take put you on the edge. We'll bring you back in the fold. Let's see. Mike Porter, Santa rants. Yeah, there you go. Fanjecture. Isn't a print in the Library of Congress National Film Registry? I'm not sure that it is, and that's been the complaint, is that George has been withholding that, and he doesn't want to have it there. Not exactly sure. We'll have to see. Yeah, Jason, Santa just put Lucas. Lucas has been on the naughty list, and for those people that want Lucas back in charge of Lucasfilm, I say, no way. No way. Lucas is, he's a crazy old man. Leave him alone. I don't want another McClunky. I don't want him to keep messing with those original trilogies. The guy's got some harebrained ideas, and he needs people to sit on him and make him not carry some of them out. He needs some people there to keep him in line and keep him in check. Do I want him in charge of Lucasfilm? Oh, no. No, no, no. I don't mind him being involved. I absolutely love him being, consulting. And it seems to me that Filoni has the right ideas in mind, and he has the right kind of, he's carried on the training that he's got and the teaching he's got from Lucas. He's a devout follower of Lucas's vision, and I'll let Filoni take it on. Let's keep George at arm's length. We don't need that. Cole for Lucas, absolutely. Remember, he messed with the audio first. Yeah, Well, let's see. Mike, LOL, Adam. I doubt Fan Jack Sure. I doubt Disney owns the original print. I don't know if they do, and that's the thing. What would it take for them to get them? How much would they have to pay, or what were the legal barriers they would have to be able to release them? What could they do as owning the IP? Right now, they own the Lucasfilm. What would it take for them to take those, say, the despecialized versions that have been worked on by that fan group? What would it take for them to take those, purchase them from those fans, or at least license those so that people could buy them? I'm just saying. I mean, there's been a lot of work in those despecialized versions, and I think they're very, very good from what I've seen. Fan Jack, sure. Yeah, I want the remastered early 90s. Same edit, but it looked nicer with THX. I'm with you. Mike Porter, good points. And we need that. Could release on Disney Plus and other formats. Thank you very much. Hey, so much like Josh this morning, wanting to get a rant out of your system, I've gotten a rant out of my system with the release of the original trilogy. Hopefully, the studio picks up on that, and the fans that have been clamoring for it for more than 20 years will be rewarded at some point in the future with the original trilogy. Shoot, if release the Snyder Cut fans could be rewarded after years of consistency, then Star Wars fans should be rewarded with the original trilogy. So that's what I have for this afternoon, for this evening. Again, I just want to thank you so much for stopping by and engaging with me in the chat and being here. Look forward to continued conversations going forward. And it's been a while since I mentioned, but Santa's got his mailbox back here. If you want to submit a letter for Santa, I'd be happy to read it on the air. And if you've got a topic of conversation, something you'd like us to discuss in the future, if you'll send that to me and ask me to put it in the mailbox, we'll pull it out and we'll do a discussion on it in a future video. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. And once again, thank you for being here. And on the way out, just say, Merry Christmas, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.